Hello. This is a video that's going to show you how to make quality proxies from your deck list. We're going to assume you're smart and you're using Moxfield for your deck list. We're also going to be using MPC autofill. We may have to use Card Conjurer, and for sure we'll be using MakePlayingCards.com to get those quality proxies made. Over on Moxfield, we're going to go ahead and pick out a deck list. Below the deck name and above the cards, you'll see the More button. We'll click More, then we're going to go to Export, and we're going to just copy the plain text. Then we're going to go to mpcfill.com, click Jump into the project editor. We're going to click Add Cards, click Text, and we're just going to Control V to paste in our list. Before we hit submit, we're going to take a look at a few things. If I scroll up just slightly, you'll see that I have my sideboard in here because on my Moxfield I do have some cards that I was considering here. If you want some extra cards beyond your 100 cards, you may want to consider keeping some of these, but MPC Fill only wants to look at the title of the cards. Since sideboard : is not a card name, I'm going to delete that, and then we'll just hit submit from here. And the first thing I want to point out is the card not found. Slot 8 here shows Balin's Tomb is not found. If I go back to Moxfield here, you can see that Balin's Tomb is an alternative title for Ancient Tomb. This might be the version that you want, but this is not how you should be pasting it into MPC Fill. These cards can be cool, but unfortunately MPC Fill just doesn't know what that card is. I'm going to hit the little caret down and go back to my preferred printing. This will change the name back to Ancient Tomb. If I go back to MPC Fill, instead of having to copy and paste my entire list again, I can just click where the text is that says Balin's Tomb and then type in Ancient Tomb. I can then click submit. And now we have art found for Ancient Tomb. You can see for Ancient Tomb that if I do look at the arts available, Balin's Tomb is an option. If I scroll down a bit, we'll see there's one more card that's not found. This is because this is an unreleased brand new card. Some cards just will not have art uploaded yet. MPC Fill is using the art from other people's drives, and apparently no one has uploaded art for this card yet. You can use Card Conjurer to make custom cards, and if your playgroup likes very custom from scratch cards that you want to try out, you can do that, but you can also just make cards for the use for MPC Fill. I go to Import Save, where it says enter card name, paste in the card name, and just click anywhere. And you'll see the details come up for this card. Card Conjurer is by no means perfect. You can see it's got some mistakes here. I've found that if you just reload the page and go back to Import Save, pasting in the name, and this time we're good to go. Not exactly 100% sure why this is, but refreshing a couple times usually seems to fix it. I'm not going to go into an insane deep dive, but I will show you my process for making this card. I'm going to go back to frame. I'm going to add the regular red frame here. I'm going to add the power and toughness box here. I'm going to change from regular frames to legend crown. I'm going to add the legendary crown. And the most important part when you're making a card for MPC, you need to go from regular to 1/8 inch margin. And you'll see it adds a margin around the card. You can click this very first one to add a border. Now we have that black extension. Scroll all the way down and click download my card. And if I open it, you can see the card here. If I go back to MPC Fill, I can't unfortunately just directly upload that photo here. I'll have to click the X to kill this card. I'll go back to add cards and text, and I'm just going to type one Black Lotus. I'll hit submit. If I scroll all the way down, I now have a Black Lotus added to my deck list. I'm going to use MPC Fill to automatically fill in these cards to make playing cards, but this Black Lotus I will manually have to remove the image and upload my new custom Raphael card instead. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, there's not really an easier way to do this. You don't want to have to bother learning how to use Card Conjurer. You can go ahead and try to find art for the card elsewhere that you can obviously upload to Make playing cards, but Card Conjurer does an amazing job of making a high quality card ready for print, and it has that tool to add the margin that you need. I'll go ahead and scroll all the way back up to the top here, and now that we know for sure all of our cards have art, we can choose which art we want for every card. Before we start looking through every card, I am going to click switch to backs. The reason I do this is because if I scroll down quite a ways and I'm down to card number 52 and I've chosen all my art so far, but this 52, for example, is a double-sided card, and I want to check the back to make sure the art is accurate and in the style that I want, if I click switch to backs now, it will jump all the way back to the top. So that's why I like to just quickly switch to backs, and you can go right back to front before you even start picking the art for anything. That way you don't have to figure out where you left off and then go to the back again. To choose which art you want for every card, you're going to hit the number 1 out of 84, for example, on a braid. Then you can simply choose the art that you like. If I want this option 20, I'll just click it. If I click the art itself instead of the number, it will show you details about that art. It's going to show you whose Google Drive it's been uploaded to. It'll show you the resolution and everything. Go ahead and close this. If you have a bunch of basic lands already and you don't want to pay to have them printed from Make playing cards, instead of going in after the fact and clicking X on all these to get all of them out of here, you may just want to find the basic lands when you're pasting in the cards and just delete them, unless of course you just want really cool art on your lands. If you look in the top right here, you can see my project contains 101 cards, and then it belongs to a bracket of up to 108. What that's referring to is on Make playing cards, you can order cards in certain number of batches. So my 100 card list with a few sideboards would fit in this. If you have a lot of basics, for example, maybe your 100 card list would fit in a 90 or 72 card list, and that would be cheaper for you to order. Because there's no discount for ordering 101 versus 108 cards, I'm going to fill in those 7 extra cards. If you don't have any extra cards that you want from a sideboard, for example, you can scroll down to the bottom of your list and consider adding tokens. So these are all the tokens that my deck might need. I'm going to go ahead and use the Eldrazi Horror and the Phyrexian Horror as examples here. On MPC fill, we'll click add cards, do text, and if you click this syntax guide, and you can kind of read here as well, that putting a T colon before the token name will identify that you're wanting to a token. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 space T colon, and I'll write horror. If I hit submit, I'm now at 103 out of 108 cards. I'll scroll all the way to the bottom to see that they've been added. If I click the number to see all the art, you can see that this is just for regular horror, not the Eldrazi Horror or Phyrexian Horror that we need. If I hit this search settings, I can change from precise search to fuzzy forgiving search, and I can hit save changes. And now instead of 20 art for horror, I have 48. Click that to open it. And you can see now I've got Phyrexian Horrors here. I've got Eldrazi Horror in multiple different arts. And I've even got the card name Hullbreaker Horror here. So you do want to be careful using fuzzy forgiving search. You'll want to pay attention to which art you choose and make sure you're actually getting the cards you want, because forgiving search is now applying to all of your card arts. You can also click here to change the art of the back of your card, and this will apply to all of the cards that are of course not double-sided. I'm going to show you another quick tip in case you have any cards with kind of weird names or 2 names. If I click more, export, and plain text, go back to MPC fill to add cards, text, paste them in, and click submit, you'll see that neither of these cards are found. In the case of Spider piloted by Penny, as long as fuzzy forgiving search is on, I can add cards, text, and simply type penny, hit submit, and with some luck you'll find art for that card. You can also click the title where it just went in as SP, type penny here, and hit submit for the same result. Hit X to delete a card at any time. And for the example where tear, that pastes in from Mox field as where/tear, MPC fill is kind of picky with how they receive the card name if you're in precise search. So this time I'm going to do it where space / tear. Unfortunately, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but if I hit submit, you'll see now I do have 14 styles of art for where space / tear. The one last thing you can try is add card text and simply type the first name of the card and not the second. So where without tear. If you hit submit, I did get just one, but there are no other art options, but it is the correct card. If I go to settings and switch to fuzzy and save, you can see that it is that same card, but now I have art for where down and where away. So it's your choice if you use precise search or fuzzy forgiving. Just be careful and note that it's kind of funky, specifically for double-sided cards or cards with weird names. I'm gonna go ahead and X on a bunch of these cards just to get down to a small sample size here. I'm gonna go ahead and leave in a card not found. And remember, we've added this Black Lotus here. I'm going to go ahead and hit download and then XML. And because I already had an XML file named cards, it downloaded as cards and then 1 added. You can change this to whatever you remember it as. Maybe yours is just like the deck name or whatever. I'm going to change mine to example. Now on MPC fill, you can click download. It'll take you to the GitHub. What we are needing is this autofill-windows.exe. That's going to take all of this art that you chose, download the art, and put it up into Make Playing Cards for you. So if I run that autofill windows exe, it'll prompt you with a few options here and put that I'm using Chrome, press enter. I'm gonna use Make Playing Cards, and because it's in brackets, I don't actually have to type Chrome or Make Playing Cards because these are the defaults. I can just hit enter. If you have a Make Playing Cards account, you can automatically save this project while the tool is running. Looks like the default is yes. Obviously with 18 cards, if something goes wrong, this would be very quick to re-up. But if you're doing 612 cards in an order, for example, saving the project just in case something goes wrong in the middle of it is obviously a good idea. You do have an option to downscale to 800 dpi. Some art is already at 800 dpi, but some art, for example, is at 1200. This might matter a lot if you have slow internet, but I don't, so I always just do N for no and upload the highest quality possible. Now, because I have two XML files, cards and example, I can choose between them and then press enter. It's going to open up a Chrome window for you that's taking control and uploading your cards for you. As it says, there is a prompt going back to this window. If you had already uploaded a deck list and you maybe wanted to order a second deck, or you forgot to get the tokens you needed, you could choose to add to an existing project, but for now I'm just going to do a new project. The images will download. And of course, because I said I want it to save, it will require me to log in. Once logged in, it should take over for you. It says successfully signed in. Now it's going to choose my project settings for me, going down to that 18 cards, and it will slowly upload and put those photos into place. Once everything's uploaded, you'll see the prompt that you can press enter to just close this window, and your little Chrome browser will remain open, and you'll see exactly as we expected. All the art is uploaded, except for that very first card, which of course we knew didn't have art. If I was to say go right click and save, I can go to my Make Playing Cards window here and go from that preview and add cart to the customize front option. I can click upload images, I can upload that art, and I could of course drag it right onto that card one. However, a couple problems happen. One, of course, low image quality. And two, this card does not have the proper margin added to it. This is why I use Card Conjurer. If I go back to the Preview and Add Cart tab, I can pull up a card here, and you can see these dotted lines showing the margin, and it shows you as it would be cut. But if I open the one that I uploaded from Scryfall, has the cut way out of whack. I can go back to Card Conjurer, paste that card in, go back to my frame, delete my Legend Crown since it's not a legendary. I can then scroll down, download my card, go back again to customize front. I will upload images. I'm going to upload that Chaos Terminator Lord as well as the Raphael card I made. Once those have been uploaded, I can drag them into the correct places. Now you can see the margin is correct. I'll find that Black Lotus that I added, which I know is supposed to be a Raphael instead. I can one final time go back to the preview and add cart. We'll click and check the margins of that Chaos Terminator Lord. You can see it's not blown up, oversized. It's correct as it should be. Every other card is as it's supposed to be. You have to check mark that you own all these images or have rights to use them. Using MPC fill, you'll get art that usually says playtest card or proxies. This one says not for sale, for example, but none of these will say copyright Wizards, for example. That's another reason why we aren't gonna just upload directly from Scryfall. And then we'll click add to cart, and that's it for the basics. You're ready to order your high quality proxies. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. You can see that it's oversized. The margins aren't correct. Hello? Hey, give me 2 seconds. Okay? Sure, I can do that. Yeah, okay, let me call you back. Yeah, hold on just a second.